Hey, it's Jonathan Matoshnik. I got the question, and I've only got it once, but I'm going to answer it, and that is, how do you get everything done? Um, I'm involved in a number of different companies, and I have a lot of things going, and so the individual realizes that and had asked, how do you get it all done? So I'll just give you a couple things. You may or may not be interested in this, but so I have to balance a number of companies and the expectations of the companies. In every business I'm involved in, I have business partners, and some people don't like that. I happen to like all my business partners, so it works out quite well for me. We all have separate skills and abilities, and so we all bring something else to the table. So I'm accountable to them. I'm married, I've got kids. Obviously, I've got commitments and accountabilities there as well. So there is a lot going on, and things are busy. So here are the few of the things that I've learned. I don't have all the answers. I'm still trying to figure it out. So if I can give you one piece of advice that I've learned, and again, take everything I say with a grain of salt. You gotta do it for yourself and figure it out and try different things and see what works for you. But if I've learned any one thing, you're gonna hear all these gurus running around talking about, you've gotta, yeah, if your time's worth 150 bucks an hour, then don't do anything that's worth more than 150 bucks an hour or less than 150 bucks an hour. Sub it out. That's genius advice if you have the money, but most guys starting out their businesses, or most guys even running $1 million, $2 million businesses that are taking a salary and putting it all back in their business, don't just have lots of money laying all over the place where you can just hire any old person to do everything for you. It doesn't really work that way. Reality is that you've got to do some stuff yourself at every level of your business. Your responsibilities are evolving, your skill sets evolving, you're changing in terms of what you've got to know and learn. And yes, as you progress, you do want to sub out as much as you can. So this gets into delegation. Try to delegate as much as you can. Try to delegate as much as you can to other people. That's the key to getting a lot of stuff done. But don't beat yourself up and feel too terribly guilty when there are some things you can't delegate. I think there's a little bit of value in understanding what's going on in your business. So for instance, if you're like me and you're trying to grow a business from a very young small company up into something in the millions of dollars a year revenue, and I've been involved in companies that have exceeded well over $10 million a year in annual revenue, and when it was those companies were $1 million, they were a completely different company than we were 10 million, and what you have to do at 10 million in annual revenue versus 1 million, totally different. What you delegate is totally different. But what I was going to say is that at 1 million, I had to learn lessons. And at 2 million, I had to learn. And at 5 million, I had to learn. My role changed and there were things I had to learn. And if I had delegated every single little thing out, I would have never learned the lessons. I would have never been able to hire the right people. And I would never have understood what it takes to be a $10 million business. The businesses I'm involved in now, it's all true. And every business is different. There's things I've got to learn. Once I get a grasp for them, then I can figure out how to systematize them and put a procedure behind them or put technology solution behind them to standardize them, to make them happen all the time the same way. I can never learn that stuff unless I do it initially. And then once I get a grasp for it, I can figure out who's the right person to hire for this, who's the right person to give this to, how can it be done better. Once I do that, then I'm ready to delegate. So first and foremost, learn to delegate. Learn not to do everything, but get a feel for how to do some of this stuff in your business yourself, so that you understand how to measure and hold the people accountable that you hire to do this stuff. Whether that's a contractor that only does it 3 hours a week, or it's a full-time employee that's taking over some of the work that you've done. What the biggest reason I can do as much as I do is I don't work in the field. I'm not in the lawn care business. I don't mow, I don't landscape, I don't design, I don't hardly do much selling anymore. I've moved to the point where I'm building the company. I'm building the business. If I was doing all the sales, if I was answering phones, and if I was doing any of the work, it'd be impossible to build the business. So I don't do that stuff anymore. I've moved out of all of those roles. Unless you're willing to move out of those roles, you'll never be able to get a lot done. It's impossible. You'll be too busy earning the revenue of the company. You'll be too busy doing work that only pays 30 and 50 and 60 and $80 an hour, meaning that's all you could ever make is 60, $80 an hour. And I know that's good money, but if you want to make two, three, $400 an hour, if you want to make a lot of money, You cannot be doing those jobs. So that gets into the point that a lot of gurus make. That is a good mindset. Make sure that you're working on high value activities. So learn a role, kind of get a feel for it, and you don't have to learn everything about it. You don't have to perspective. Um, you don't have to be perfect at it, but just kind of learn the basics of your business, get a feel for your business, and delegate those tasks. As soon as you have money, get rid of some more of the stuff that you're responsible for that you're doing every day and move up the ranks in your business. That's how you grow. So, how do I get stuff done? Delegation. When I'm a young business, there's a lot I can't delegate. I have to do a whole lot of stuff that is, in a sense, below me, I guess you'd say, or it's $15 an hour work that I shouldn't be doing, but I've got to do some things when I'm starting a new business because there's no money and there's nobody else to do them. So you're going to run into the same problem. After that, I really think the keys are keeping a to-do list. So I keep a to-do list. I've probably got 170 things on my to-do list right now, and I prioritize it. And so I'll read my to-do list and I'll pull the next 10 things I'm going to do, and I write them up on a whiteboard on my wall. I work off the 10 things, and then I look at my list after I've done those 10 things, and I pull the next high priorities off. I try not to look at my list again until I've done those things. Now, in the meantime, priorities pop up, fires pop up, things pop up that get in the way that I've got to handle, and I do those. If possible, anything that's not a priority, I just add it to the to-do list and I ignore it as best I can. Focus on the 10 things I wrote on my board, I get them done, then I go back and reevaluate my to-do list. That's kind of how I work. I don't have a complicated system. I just use an Excel spreadsheet. Tracks everything I need to do. I also have an idea list. Every idea I have, I write it down. So I have an iPhone. Every idea I have, I just put it in my iPhone and then I put it in my Excel spreadsheet when I'm back in front of my computer. I probably have 400 or 500 running ideas right now. They could be new businesses, new business ideas, new things to do in our businesses, and I just keep a running list. Every once in a while, I go through my idea list and I pull stuff out that become the priorities for the next month or next year or get delegated to other people. So again, I just keep a running to-do list. It's a long list. Half the stuff I put on my list, after about 3 months when it's not done, I scan that list and I just delete half of it. It's the greatest thing ever. Half the stuff that you think is important in the moment is completely unimportant. You drop it on your to-do list a month, two later, it's not been done, and you think, that wasn't even important anyway, and then you just delete it. So those are the best things. So I delete a lot of stuff that just doesn't need to get done, and reevaluate my list as every so often. Once I finish the main items that I've put up on my board, work those items off, and go back and reevaluate my list.